morning. Welcome to a small edition of Cat Space. I am Cat. With me is Buckets. Tonight it's just the two of us. Tonight's episode is called Media, the Secret Prison. We're gonna go in turns. Hi. We're gonna go in turns to answer these questions as fast as we possibly can get them. Question one, Buckets. Are we unaware that we are financing our prison for the other?
Okay, well, it depends what prison you're talking about. But I believe that we're financing a bunch of prisons and we don't even realize it. So um let's basically think of what's a prison. Okay, so you've got a prison, you basically is a place where you're in solitary confinement and you don't go anywhere. And you don't move, you eat there, you sleep there, you don't move until someone tells you to do this, until someone tells you to go there, which is exactly like a prison. So I think our biggest number one prison right now is our own homes. And so we are, due to social media, we have effectively created, and not just social media, actual media, we have created our own prison. But we need to basically pay the rent and do whatever, right? So we go to a job, which happens to be yet another prison, and we work there from 9 to 5, staying in this one spot, working hours, just like a normal prison, to finance the prison that we're already in. And unless we're taking holiday pay to go to, a holiday to the Caribbean or whatever, we're effectively a slave to this job that finances where we live, i.e., one prison financing another.
Hmm. I have to agree with that one. Let's get into the second question.
Are you going to answer this question?
I'm trying to think of how I would answer it. I think we are, in a way that we are financing one prison for the other. Because obviously you're at home and then you go to work and then you come home again. And we're financing our freedom to step outside. And when we do step outside, it's only to be behind other walls, and not looking after our own self and our own mental health. So yes. Next question. Is social media a prison?
It's a type of prison. So social media decides how we basically think and act. So if a really good example of this is the algorithms. So if you click on a particular item on Sky News about, say, the current Donald Trump Biden administration thing, if they want you to think a certain way, they will pump you with either things from the Democratic side or the Trump side. But they will continue to pump you with the same sort of information that you're clicking on. But if there's like a way in which you sort of want to think outside the box, that doesn't conform with the way they like you to think, i.e., YouTube wants you to think, or with Facebook not wanting you to think. Well, we have something called cancel culture, for which they will basically shut you down and punish you, whether that's from putting you in Facebook jail, completely disabling your account without giving you a reason why they're disabling your account, or another way that they're doing that is just feeding you nothing but items from a particular side. So they're effectively brainwashing you how to think. And any way that where you try to think for yourself is quashed, or you get punished for thinking how you want to think. It's like almost like freedom of thought doesn't really exist.
I agree with that. I think that social media is a form or type of person where you could be on X or Instagram or TikTok or Facebook, and you're saying something that's not offensive, it's not rude, it's not controversial, yet you say what's on your, and it says what's on your mind, and you say it, and all of a sudden you find yourself, oh, it doesn't fall within our guidelines. Please remove it, or or we're putting you in Facebook jail for 30 days. You can't comment for 30 days. While other people are putting much more, far worse content, and they're allowed to get away with it. Like, that is so wrong.
I'd like to add something to that, which is it's so interesting that if it's in picture form, Facebook doesn't seem to have a problem with that if it's in picture form. But the minute you say it as a form of, as a comment, Facebook has no problem taking you down really, really quickly. So it's almost like if you think the wrong thoughts, we're going to have a problem with this. But if you just kind of say it in picture form, we're not even going to bother you.
It's a form of censorship, really.
It is, yeah, it's a form of censorship. It is absolute censorship, basically.
It's like saying you're not falling in line with us, and you're disobeying the rules, but you didn't do anything wrong. Yet, even though you didn't do anything wrong, you're still disobeying the rules, and you're not falling in line. Whoops, no comment for 30 days. So yeah, next question. Were we more free before the internet?
Oh, we're 100% more free before the internet because our thoughts weren't monitored. We were allowed to have free thinking. If we were allowed to say whatever we wanted, and the only punishment for being a free thinker was that another person would just disagree with you. There wasn't really such a thing as hate speech because, well, you could say whatever you want, and the only punishment was just disagreement, really, which I think is quite healthy. We certainly had things called racism. That was certainly real. But there was like you couldn't really get punished for an opinion. So, and the other thing is the internet. What is it? It's in your home, right? It's in your home. You talk about things in your home, or what's on your mind, as Facebook would continuously ask, what's on your mind? I mean, the stupid thing about Facebook is that if Facebook don't want to know what you're thinking, why ask that question? It's a stupid question. If they don't want to know what you're thinking, why even ask that question? But you could say something in the privacy of before the internet, you could say something in the privacy of your own home and just share your opinion with other people. And that's as far as it would go. Okay. Except of course, if you allowed your opinions to gravitate, and then all of a sudden you started a revolution. But if it's just you having a bunch of drinks with your mates and just saying, oh, I don't like the way that this government is run, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, it would stay within your group of friends, and that's as far as it would go. It wouldn't go anywhere else.
I agree, because we were more free because we were kids. We were kids, and we went outside. We played outside. We played in our rooms. Played a game of Atari or two, maybe Sega. Played some PC games on a floppy disk. We had MS-DOS. We were given the advantage of, if we wanted to go see a movie, you'd bring a movie phone or check the newspapers. You'd go to the mall with your friends and eat whatever you want, drink whatever you want, right? But as we got older now, this technology age, it's like it follows us everywhere. And for example, it's like you have your phone with you for navigation. You're listening to music. You have Alexa or Siri, and you'll be saying something and they're listening and they're answering you, or you ask it something. It's like we no longer use our minds to think for ourselves, because now it's completely different. It's got AI, it's got the recent technology, it knows what you want. And you wouldn't have to worry about a thing. But before, it was so lovely just to have growing up and not to have to worry about all of that. Here's where my next question kicks in. How is mainstream media a prison?
Well, mainstream media is pretty much a prison because it tells you what is the right way to think. So typical stuff that you find on mainstream media is a media that pretty much supports left-wing ideologies. So ABC is typically left-wing because it's funded by a left-wing government. It doesn't like supporting the right-wing side of politics because they're simply not in power. And so it's not really a balanced network. It only really supports the left side, the left, and it's until another government basically takes over that happens to be the opposite side of government, and then they start supporting that side of government and become more conservative. So the ABC is really more based off who's in power rather than what's the thought of the people. And so it's not a surprise that people would rather get their news online from Sky News or alternative sources, purely because they don't think the same as the ABC anymore. And that's just the way of things.
It's like the mainstream is like, we will tell you when to think. We'll tell you what to think, how to think, when to think, and we'll give you the answers to your thoughts instead of you making up your own mind to answers to solutions. So therefore mainstream media puts things in your head, makes it sound believable, that it goes in and it consumes everything you think about.
Like a perfect example was the Voice to Parliament, where we were basically told that it was consciously right for us to pick the side of yes. And if you even thought of picking no, and I use the word thought of picking no, then people would come after you and harass you and abuse you. And so all of a sudden you've got a situation where a lot of Australians just fell silent because they were worried that they were going to be thought of as racist because they didn't fit into a box. And then what was the result of the referendum? 90% of Australia said no. And that's how they spoke. They didn't say no in public because they were afraid of being defamed. They just said no with their vote. That was their other way of saying no.
And don't forget, with the upcoming election, we're being told, this is what I can do for you, and this is what I can do for you. This is what you're going to be told. This is how it's going to work. This is who you need to vote for. This is who you don't vote for. It's kind of like, well, it's our right to think for ourselves and to go, I'm going to vote for that person because I don't want to vote for this person. Even though this person promised A, B, C, and D, this person might do a better job. This person has done an awful job. I don't want him in government anymore. It's just the way we all get sucked into it. Here's where the next question comes in. The internet claims to connect us, but are we rapidly lacking connection because of the internet?
I think that's exactly what's happening. We are rapidly lacking connection. It's ironic because the the internet say, our service provider says you're connected all the time, and it uses that fluently all the time. And in a way, we kind of are connected to other people, but we're not really spiritually connected. We're just um, we're just basically connected via a box, but we don't really have a sense of belonging anymore. And so the subsequent of our humanity is we feel alone and isolated. And ironically, our levels of depression and suicide have actually increased since the internet has become a bigger part of our lives, which is quite interesting. So we're not really connected, we're actually separated from each other thanks to the internet.
I was saying something last time. Remember how I said because the internet doesn't connect us anymore, if you notice, you sit on the couch or in the bed, what do? Stare at the phone, watch a movie on Disney or Netflix or Amazon. You're listening to music, you go on YouTube, you go on Facebook, X, Instagram, whatever you call it, TikTok, and you scroll and you scroll and you scroll and you scroll for hours. Because the internet has trained us not to communicate with the person sitting next to us. And when you put your phone down to sleep, it's the only time that your mind is conscious to the person sitting next to you. And we've forgotten to communicate to each other because the internet has trained us so well. It's kind of like it's taken advantage of us, for example. And I was saying this last night that how strange that we could be sitting next to each other instead of having a deeper meaningful conversation or a fun conversation, having a giggle or a smile. What are we doing? We're sitting next to each other and it's like that. Well, you can't really see it, but there you go. It's like that.
Yeah, I was actually sort of mortified or even a little bit scared at the fact that we were having a conversation about this very topic. And what was the first thing I did within 30 seconds after I thought that this conversation was over? I just went and reached for my phone and I'm like, oh my God, I'm stuck in this prison where I'm continuously going after my phone. And it's just instinctual that I'm going after my phone. I didn't even think about going on my phone, but I think it's because that I've trained myself to use the phone like a drug. And on top of that, I've trained myself to think this is my sense of connection that I have access to, when really the sense of connection that I should really be connected to is my wife that is literally sitting next door to me. So I found that it's like, oh my God, this is actually more dangerous than I'm actually aware of. And very, very, very scary once I started thinking about it.
Here's the question. Are we a slave to the box?
I think we are. In fact, it's so weird that we treat the box like it's a family member. In fact, I do remember this one time when my brother literally said to me, the house feels really lonely without a television. But the television, it's not a human being. It doesn't have feelings. But yet we take care of it. We change it sometimes when we don't like the shit that's on television. We make sure that it's not damaged, or we try to make sure it's not damaged. We yell at it. We get angry at it all the time. We don't when we see what's on it, but we actually treat the television as if it's a human. We don't treat it like a inanimate object. We treat it like it's an actual human. We hate it, we scream at it, and we do love it. It is we feel lonely when it's not in our lives.
I agree. And I think we are a slave to the box because you could be watching your favorite movie or your favorite TV, or your favorite chocolate bar appears on TV, or McDonald's or KFC or whatever. And you're going, oh my God, I can almost smell it. I can almost taste it. And it makes you want to go grab that thing, and it's right in front of your face like a guilt trip. Almost. So yes, I do agree. We are a slave to the box because it makes us think we want something when we don't.
I think it's so amazing that we could be doing all these things like cooking, cleaning, shopping, but the one thing that holds our attention straight away is the television. And it's almost like we stop everything for the television. Even our own family members don't get as nearly as much attention as the television does. But the minute the television is on, automatically we basically give the television more attention than probably what it deserves.
Here's a question. Here's something you said that's very profound, but I have the question to you that you've just given the answer to. Do we treat technology like humans even though they're not human?
I think, well, we already do that now. So we have like an AI, we have AI technology, where we create an AI bot that acts like a girlfriend for people that don't have girlfriends. Or we create, we've created Siri that is basically like a really nice maid that's always going to be nice to us. And answers all our questions by just talking to it instead of actually talking to a real person. So yes, we treat new technology like it's human, even though it's not actually human.
Good point. Next question. Do all humans crave a sense of belonging for what we have replaced with AI?
I think that's kind of a part of us. All humans do crave belonging, and technology is replacing itself with humans. So how technology works is, especially social media, is we like basically the attention. And this is why Facebook is so popular, because it'll send you a message basically saying, oh, someone liked your page or someone liked your comment or someone responded to you, but tells you this 24 hours, 7 days a week, every second of the day. Whereas real human connection, you have to basically sleep, and they may not tell you that you're amazing. Oh, we've changed back. Real human connection may not tell you that you're amazing 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every second of the day. So AI is just kind of going, right, okay, well, a real human isn't gonna be there to basically tell you how awesome you are all the time. So we'll just do this instead.
Yeah, I think all humans crave a sense of belonging, a sense of love and attention because we spend too much time either on our smartwatches or on our laptops, iPads, our TVs, our tablets, or listening to music that we forget that we need that sort of another human touch from someone else and that attention and that we belong because AI wants us to think it likes us, wants us to think it loves us and we need it. But
Like a surrogate mother.
yeah.
Which is interesting because what do humans desire? They desire compassion, empathy, you know, belongingness or belonging, I should say.
Yeah.
And AI can provide these things, but it can't, one thing it can't do is provide real human touch. Okay, that's what it can't actually do. And it's different from love. It might sound like love, it might talk to us like it loves us, but it doesn't actually understand what love actually is.
Because
it's a robot, basically. It's not compassionate. Okay. It gives us the illusion of compassion by basically telling us compassionate things that has been designed by other humans. But you know, is it going to Is it going to hug us when we need a hug? Probably not.
No.
You know, is it going to make us feel love? Is it going to kiss us and for us to get an emotional response based off that? Probably not. It can only tell us at this time, I should say, you're a superstar, and we just feel great.
Good point. Last question. Have we submitted ourselves to the internet? I'd like to go first on that. I think so, because from morning till night, we're on our phones. From daytime to nighttime to afternoons, we're on our phones. If we're at work, we're not on our phones because we're not allowed to be. But on a quiet moment, you can't help but sneak to your phone and check what's going on with your friends, or what's going on in the world, or who said what and what did what and why. It, as Buckets has said, it comes across as a bit of a drug, like an addiction that you can't wean yourself off of it. Therefore, I do believe we have submitted ourselves to the AI, to the internet, because we can't help but type on the keyboard, see what's happening politically, see what's happening in our world, see what's happening with our friends, and playing games, because our brain doesn't get a moment to stop. Whether you're cooking, you need your phone for recipes. TV, you need your phone. TV, you need music. Or you're on the bus or the train, you need music. So our brains are sucking that in. And the only time we say no to the machine is when we're sleeping, because we don't allow it to interfere with our sleep patterns. Because if we let it affect our sleep patterns, we're allowing the machine to win.
Well, that's it. That's the only time in our lives where the phones have literally no control over what goes on in our heads, because when we sleep, we're not reaching for the phones. Hopefully, we're not reaching the phones because our subconscious is literally talking to us in our minds whilst we sleep. When we wake up, however, our hands are instantly going for the phones because we're addicted to these machines, and because it's so integrated in our lifetime, it's like second nature. It's like a third hand almost. It has to go for the phone. We have to have it. I mean, I remember when I was in school and you were banned for basically picking up a phone. Now it's a part of every single classroom, including mine right now. And you look at your phone to look up sources of information. The amount of recipes that I've actually picked up and learnt from YouTube, and just switching past what degree of heat I need for a particular recipe, without even looking at a cookbook, because I want to know what it actually looks like or how it turns out to be, is astonishing. And let's not forget Marley Spoon, for which we can order online. We can legitimately feed ourselves without having to go outside. All we need is a credit card, and that's it. Okay, we don't even have to shop anymore. We can order all of our stuff and have it sent to us. Okay, which is again another shutdown of communication, of seeing real human beings.
That's a good point. I was saying something last night to Buckets that, imagine when we had COVID, because when you're living with your partner, or you're living with your girlfriend, or your husband or wife, or whatever, sister, brother, niece, whatever, during COVID, two people could not even go shopping, even though they live in under the one roof. One person goes to get the shopping, and you couldn't go to the movies, you couldn't go to karaoke, you couldn't go to school, you couldn't go to work, couldn't do this, couldn't do that. So we were forced to be locked in, and we had streaming services, and you'd have Marley Spoon being brought to your house, or one person does the shopping and brings in the food and the drinks and the snacks, and you're forced to think, I can't leave my spot. And then when they said, okay, you can jog for half an hour to an hour and stay in your park, but no more than half an hour, you're like, great, I can go outside and I can hear the birds, but if you were caught for more than half an hour to an hour, you're in serious trouble. Even now with the sorry, Cliff, with the flu, you're being told, "Oh, wear a mask, wear a mask." There's a flu going around, and it's much stronger than COVID or any other strain. It's a form of making you feel scared again, and saying, "Oh, I don't want to go out. I don't want to go out of my house because I don't want to get sick."
But why would you need to basically go out of your house when everything is brought to you? Which is another reason why you don't have to see other human beings. So it's almost like it's giving you reasons to stay inside your home and be a quote unquote prisoner of your own home. Therefore, you are stuck in a prison of your own doing. And which is exactly how our modern day prisons are actually run today.
Eddie. Well, that's it. I think today. Thank you so much, Buckets. Such a wise, amazing guy. Thank you to our current subscribers, our newest subscribers, our viewers. Thank you so much for us. Please don't forget to subscribe. You want to show them where to subscribe,
there.
and there's the bell there. And thank you for all the comments you're leaving us, all the love. We truly, truly are loving it. We appreciate each and every one of you. Invite your friends to subscribe. We are also on Anchor and Spotify. Please follow us there, and just keep subscribing because it allows us to get more content out. We'll be back tomorrow for another round. We will see you later and with Leon tomorrow. Until then, please stay safe and wherever you are, stay golden.
Bye.
Peace and love. Bye.